I am about to move over from my AI fog to my AI volume scatter. To do that, first I'm going to click on this little black and white box again. And I have two options. I can either disconnect my fog or completely delete it. In this case, this is just a test scene, so I am going to completely delete. And when I do that, my scene goes back to normal. I will close my render view while I set up my lights and delete my AI sky dome. I'm going to do something very simple and just create a couple of area lights. So here's my first one. Make it a little bigger, move it over, tilt, and we'll add another one right back here, tilt. This one, the exposure will turn up to 10. Maybe I'll do the same thing over here. And now let's open up that render view again and see what my lights are doing. Oh, my slow computer. Okay, that actually looks pretty great. I'm going to give each of the lights a slightly different color. We will make this one, maybe I'll go orange. I like orange. And then, just so we're a little different, back here, this one I will make blue. Just a little blue. Lovely. So, back to my render setup. Under Atmosphere, I will make an AI volume atmosphere. Immediately, nothing will happen in the render. The reason for that is that my density is at 0. So as I start turning the density up, you will start seeing the light fog effect happen. The scene fills in, and as I look over here, I can actually see that blue light start to become very effective in the scene. Let me pull up my camera and just look up at that light so that you can see what the atmosphere is doing. And there it is, nicely outlined. So what the AI atmosphere volume does is it puts little particles right around the light itself so you can get the effect of light rays. I think this is really cool. But everybody has their own taste, and we'll see what you like. With the volume attributes, density is the most obvious one, and the higher it is, the denser the light fog becomes, and so now my light is all blown out. And you can see that very small changes will make very big differences, so be careful with this one. You can also tint the effect. I do not recommend this because it will already get a tint from the light. You can see that this is just a tiny bit blue because that light color is blue. If I went and looked over at the other one, it would be a little bit orange because the other light is orange. If I do this, it will add a third color to the scene, perhaps unintentionally. But yeah, I can come in and make it pink. If you feel like overriding your light colors, sure. You can do that. Absolutely. And as always, value will turn it off or on, so you don't want to mess with value, just saturation and hue. Now, attenuation is supposed to really focus the effect. What I find when I turn attenuation on is that it completely cancels the effect of the lights out and turns them all to complete blackness. But maybe one of you will do some reading on attenuation and find out what it's doing and why, and that'll make it work a little bit better. So we'll see. Maybe somebody will tell me what attenuation does here. Anisotropy should put a little bit of rotation in the fog, and samples will help clean it up if you're getting too many little noise pieces. So that is the AI atmosphere volume. The last thing I'll say here is that you can only have one active at a time. You can either have an atmosphere volume or an AI fog. You can't have them both. If I create an AI fog here, what'll happen in my little black and white box is that now you'll see I've got a bank of these. So I've got one AI atmosphere volume and one AI fog, and now I can switch back and forth between them. That's why there's a disconnect in addition to a delete. I can disconnect this to remove it from the scene, and then simply reapply it. Finally, as I said before, these do play pretty well with your depth of field effects. So if I go back into my camera and I go back to Arnold, I will be able to re-enable depth of field, and now I'll have some blur plus the light fog, and my render will just be absolutely amazing. So I'd like you to use either an AI atmosphere volume or an AI fog in at least one of your homework scenes. Ideally, you'd use one in each, and in fact, you'd use a fog in one and an atmosphere volume in the other, and that would show me that you really have a very fine control over all of the environment effects.